Not long to go now until Super Bowl Sunday is upon us, where the Kansas City Chiefs and Tampa Bay Buccaneers will go head-to-head to get their hands on this, just behind me, the Vince Lombardi Trophy. One man who'll be watching all the action for us on Sky Sports is Jeff Reinebold, who joins us now. Delighted to say, Jeff, thank you for coming in to see us.
It's my pleasure, Kate. How are you?
Yeah, doing very well, thank you. Understandably, a lot of focus this week is on these quarterbacks. Is it too simplistic, Tom Brady, Patrick Mahomes, is it too simplistic to say you got the best quarterback, you're going to win this?
Well, I think it's the biggest storyline of the day. You got a guy that's 43 years old, which is ancient for a quarterback in the National Football League, and still playing at an extremely high level. And maybe the heir apparent, the guy that may be able to break all of his records in Patrick Mahomes, who's really the face of the now NFL. So it's, you know, it's really almost a passing of the guard kind of thing.
Yeah, and he's spoken so much, hasn't he, Patrick Mahomes, about how much he respects Tom Brady.
Yeah, they've really gone out of their way to say how much they respect each other. But you know, as intensive competitors as they are, that they'll want to rip the other one's heart out come Sunday.
Goodness me. And just 25, of course, Patrick Mahomes. But Tom Brady, 43 years old, you've coached in the game. How can you try somehow to explain to us how someone of that age keeps going at this kind of level of competition?
Well, you know, Kate, it's really strange because when you look at Tom when he came out of the University of Michigan, he was just a very average sixth-round draft choice, a very average player. You look at, if you go back on YouTube and look at his combine photos, he looks like a 52-year-old man at 24. But he has done an amazing job.
He's getting younger, isn't he?
Well, it's like he's not Benjamin Button, but he has done an amazing job of taking care of himself. He's extremely, extremely conscious of everything that goes in his body. He doesn't eat, you know, he eats avocado ice cream. I mean, the guy is really, really unbelievably focused. And I think even any elite level professional athlete will tell you this. It's maybe not the physical part, but it's the mental part. The preparation, the amount of time in the off season it takes. I mean, he's a guy with a beautiful family and would have every reason. He doesn't need the money, every reason to just walk off into the sunset. But he's got an incredible desire to be great. He said this week he wants to play till he's 45.
Yeah, we were showing that on here quite often. He says he's getting ready to train for the next season as soon as the Super Bowl ends. It's kind of extraordinary to see that in a man who's achieved as much as he has, isn't it, Jeff?
Yeah, to be able to stay hungry like that and stay with the process, because it's grueling. It is long hours. It's tough on your body. It's tough on your family because you're away a lot. And, you know, you got to give him credit. I don't know if there's anybody in the history of the game that's approached his offseason like he does.
Avocado ice cream doesn't sound too bad, though. On the face.
Maybe for you. I don't know.
The Bucs, then, they're the first team to play a home Super Bowl. How much of an advantage do you think that'll be?
Well, you know, there's only going to be 25,000 real fans in attendance. There'll be 7,500. The NFL did something really cool, I thought. They're going to allow 7,500 vaccinated healthcare workers in free for the game. There'll be 25,000 actual fans and then another 30,000 cutouts. So it'll appear that it's a full stadium. But it's kind of a shame, really, because there won't be that real home field advantage for Tampa Bay. And right. Kansas City's not going to come into the Super Bowl site until the day before, until Friday night, right. Which is more like what you do in a regular season game. Normally, they would have already been in Tampa for 3 or 4 days. So
the build-up for them is not going to be so...
And I think that's an advantage for them, Kate, because they don't have the distractions. You know, Super Bowl, even this year, the Super Bowl city, the Super Bowl focus, the amount of media responsibilities that they have, it's just draining on the athletes. So Kansas City's at home, sleeping in their own beds, going to their own practice field, their own training room, and I think that's going to be a real advantage for them.
Now, of course, one of the key things that's been happening in sport around the world, and particularly in the States as well, is a lot of focus on social diversity. And there's been a lot of unrest, but that's resulted in a real desire to make a change. How interesting is it, or how positive is it that the Buccaneers reached this Super Bowl final, given that they have one of the most diverse coaching teams in the league?
Well, I think, you know, the guy who's their head coach has really been you know, on the forefront of that movement. You know, he has 3 African-American coordinators, and that's the only team in the National Football League that has it. He has female coaches on his staff, and it's not tokenism. These are actual, you know, contributors to the cause. And so I think Bruce Arians really needs to be applauded because he has always been at the forefront of, opportunity, because he had to wait, Kate, he had to wait till he was almost 60 to get his first opportunity as a head coach. So I think he understands what it feels like to be on the outside looking in.
It's actually a beautiful story, really, when
Yeah,
you put it like that, Jeff. I can see why they've got you on the coverage. Just to return briefly to Patrick Mahomes, and this is an impossible question, isn't it? But he clearly has a drive for it. Do you think it's possible for someone in this current game, in this day and age, to replicate what Tom Brady has done? And if so, could he do it?
Well, I think, that's really an interesting question. The way the game has changed and the way they care for the quarterbacks now, it's much, much easier for a quarterback to play. We look at, numbers of quarterbacks playing into their late 30s and 40s at a high level. So Patrick, because he's only 25 and has already been an MVP once, has already won a Super Bowl once, I think he has an opportunity with this team. He, interestingly enough, Kate, he's got a new contract last year, and he structured it in such a way that the money's over 10 years so that they can afford, inside the salary cap, to keep this team together, because he wants that to be his legacy.
Wow, looking to the future. Someone else looking to the future is the England soccer captain, Harry Kane.
How about that?
Have you heard about this? He says he's still considering a potential switch to the NFL. When he retires, presumably. What do you make of that as a concept? Do you think that's a possibility?
Oh, I think it's fantastic. I mean, I really think it's fantastic, because here's a guy who has played in his sport at the elite level, and now obviously for him to play receiver or running back, that's out of the question. But to go in and use his skills as a kicker, that would be fantastic. And I think it'd be awesome for the growth of the game around the world, because, again, that would be like Tom Brady coming and, playing center back for Leeds, which is my team. So I got to say,
Leeds is your team.
I got to give I got to give a little.
Goodness,
30 Leeds.
Little, not anymore. It's a really interesting idea. But so you think it's got legs?
Well, I think it's fantastic. Yeah, I really do.
Because rugby players, we've seen them.
Somebody's going to do it. Somebody's going to make that jump. And I think that all of the things that you would learn as a Premiership player, as a player for England, the pressure of big games, the pressure of big kicks, all of that stuff would certainly help you. And obviously, he's been doing magical things with the ball on his foot since he was probably 8 years old. So why not continue?
Well, he's back. Sounds like he's back. All right, so you're going to be part of our coverage over the weekend. It's a big, long time of work and effort, not just for you, but for people who are planning to stay up and watch the game. Do you have any what are your tips for staying fresh?
Well, I would say that because the coverage comes on so late here in England, that get a good night's sleep on Saturday night. That's your pregame sleep. Get a little food in your stomach and then settle in, because we're going to have great coverage. Neil Reynolds, who quarterbacks our coverage, does an outstanding job. Sean Gale and I will be in the studio, and then we're going to have Cliff Averill and Dallas Clark, the legendary tight end from the Colts, in the stadium. So we got fantastic coverage. The NFL Network heroes, they're called, the podcast guys from NFL Network around the NFL will join us, and it's going to be a lot of fun.
Okay, so one final question then, really. Who in your view is going to win?
I'm going to say this, Kate, I'm going to say the same thing that I said back March when somebody asked me this question, that I just think Kansas City's too good, too deep, got too many weapons, and can score too fast. And Tampa's here really because of their defense, not because of their offense. So I think it's going to be Kansas City.
Jeff, thank you so much for joining us.
My pleasure.
To talk us through all of this. And what a delight to get so close to that trophy.